Hi there, Roger Burnley here, and I have another video for you. So now we're going to talk about breathing and singing. And they do go hand in hand, actually, because you have to be able to breathe when you are singing. Now, mainly, most people are asking me questions about this because most times they feel that they don't have enough breath. And again, I do so many things where I'm addressing letting go of the blockage, letting go of the things that are taking your air away. Typically, when you're singing in a really free and easy way, you don't even need to think about diaphragmatic breathing. And I know that that's something that a lot of you've heard a lot about, and a lot of coaches and teachers and talk about diaphragmatic breathing. But I want you to and it is important, especially depending on what type of music you're doing. If you're, doing something where you really have to belt, where you're on a stage where you really have to project when you're singing and you have to hold a long note or a passage or whatever it might be. Yes, it is important. But a lot of times when you're just singing in your normal voice in an easy way, it should not be an issue for you. You should have enough breath to actually continue and to do what you need to do. And the other thing I want you to understand is that you actually very naturally you breathe diaphragmatically. That's just what happens. That's just the way that our bodies operate. So let's talk about that. Most people will take what they call basically a breath, but the first thing that they do is that they'll pull in here and take what I call just a chest breath. So that means that they just have the air up here in their chest, and they're pulling in here. The thing that happens, all of this area is your diaphragm. It's this whole area. The chest is just another part of that. It's an extension, but air can be held in all of it. So what I like to get people to do in the beginning, as you're getting in touch with this, is to start to practice not cutting off your breath. In other words, when you take a breath, I want you is to feel that you're taking the breath in, but you're actually expanding out. You're letting your diaphragm open. You're letting this cavity hold the air there. Then what you're going to do as you're holding that breath, and you'll see I'm doing this as I'm sitting down, because a lot of times, we're taught that it's all about having all this support and all of that. Yes, it does help, especially in certain situations, but I want to make it real simple for you right now. But so just understanding that all I'm doing is taking a breath, and I'm pushing my stomach out. Yes, it's really unattractive because you will have a belly showing there. But as I'm pushing out on it, I can hold the note for so much longer. I'll have enough air. The minute this collapses, the minute, when it comes in, then my air is gone. I've actually literally forced the air out. So the thing that I like to do is to get my clients to think is to practice this kind of almost inverted way of thinking when you're singing. And I'm going to demonstrate this on a song. I'm taking a song, The Way You Look Tonight. Some of you may know that, but I have a very slow arrangement here, and I wanted to do that because I wanted to be very definite about where I'm taking the breaths. Another thing that happens when you become very conscious of where you're breathing, your performance becomes better too, because you will then start to do your phrasing more appropriately. You'll take breaths that will accentuate what you're trying to deliver in your song, in your performance, and that's ultimately what we want as singers. But let me just play a bit of this and see if, and I'm going to kind of demonstrate where I'm taking the breaths and where I'm like basically kind of holding out, pushing out slightly on my stomach or diaphragm, because I want you to, again, to think of all of this area as being your diaphragm as I'm holding the breath. So let me just play a little bit of this. The release, taking the breath in the beginning, is very important. Someday when I'm awfully low, when the world is cold, I will feel a glow just thinking of you. Breath, and the way you look tonight. I was holding that, pushing out to hold that breath there. So, I mean, it's just a little demonstration of it. And again, you know, in the beginning, if you've been used to tightening and pushing, it will take you some practice in getting this. But again, it's always thinking that release. I let it go, taking the air, pushing out on the diaphragm. I have enough air to sustain. And again, for most pop music and other things that you're doing, when we get all of the other things that have been blocking your air to release, you won't be thinking about it quite as much. So just kind of relax with it as you're doing it. But it's good to get in touch with it for right now. So, and again, if you want more information on my singing program, Singing Made Simple, there is a link at the bottom of this video, so check that out as well. And thanks for watching this video. Until the next time, I'll see you soon.